Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the Bible and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. This is another message that came to me from the Lord. Son of man, turn and face Gog of the land of Magog, the prince who rules over the nations of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord. Gog, I am your enemy. I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws to lead you out with your whole army, your horses and charioteers in full armor, and a great horde armed with shields and swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you too with all their weapons. Gomer and all its armies will also join you, along with the armies of Beth Togarmah from the distant north, and many others. Get ready, be prepared, keep all the armies around you mobilized and take command of them. A long time from now, you will be called into action. In the distant future, you will swoop down on the land of Israel. You will be enjoying peace after recovering from war and after its people have returned from many lands to the mountains of Israel. You and your allies, the vast and awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover the land like a cloud. This is what the sovereign Lord says. At that time, evil thoughts will come to your mind, and you will devise a wicked scheme. You will say, Israel is an unprotected land, filled with unwalled villages. I will march against her and destroy these people who live in such confidence. I will go to those formerly desolate cities that are now filled with people who have returned from exile in many nations. I will capture vast amounts of plunder, for the people are rich with livestock and other possessions now. They think the whole world revolves around them. But Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish will ask, do you really think the armies you have gathered can rob them of silver and gold? Do you think you can drive away their livestock and seize their goods and carry off plunder? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy against Gog. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord. When my people are living in peace in their land, then you will rouse yourself. You will come from your homeland in the distant north with your vast cavalry and your mighty army, and you will attack my people Israel, covering their land like a cloud. At that time in the distant future, I will bring you against my land as everyone watches, and my holiness will be displayed by what happens to you, Gog. Then all the nations will know that I am the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord asks. Are you the one I was talking about long ago, when I announced through Israel's prophets that in the future I would bring you against my people? But this is what the sovereign Lord says. When Gog invades the land of Israel, my fury will boil over. In my jealousy and blazing anger, I promise a mighty shaking in the land of Israel on that day. All living things, the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the animals of the field, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people on earth will quake in the terror at my presence. Mountains will be thrown down, cliffs will crumble, walls will fall to the earth. I will summon the sword against you on all the hills of Israel, says the sovereign Lord. Your men will turn their swords against each other. I will punish you and your armies with disease and bloodshed. I will send torrential rain, hailstone, fire, and burning sulfur. In this way I will show my greatness and holiness, and I will make myself known to all the nations of the world. Then they will know that I am the Lord. One thought. After a shocking vision where Ezekiel sees a valley of dry bones coming to life, representing the restoration of God's people, Ezekiel receives a word of judgment against a mysterious foe who will attempt to invade Israel, and this prophecy unfolds over the next two chapters. Ezekiel 38 and 39 are very difficult chapters to interpret because the Hebrew is very choppy and the scenes shift pretty quickly. But these chapters have important things to teach us about God, ourselves, and his heart for his people. Now, before getting into the interpretation of the chapter, I first want to talk about a wrong turn we can take when reading this chapter. The wrong way of reading the chapter is trying to fit in contemporary details back into the text. Some modern interpreters have argued that Russia is referenced in this text and that the reference to Persia is a reference to modern-day Iran. The Russian reading is particularly nonsensical because it's based on two words sounding similar from languages that existed thousands of years apart, ancient Hebrew and modern Russian, and so we just need to be very skeptical when people are trying to make these tenuous parallels. These ancient nations don't really have much connection to nations that, even though they may exist in the same plot of land today, there's major cultural differences between them. But, we need to understand the general shape first of what's going on in this chapter, right? Here's the basic plot line. A king named Gog gets an idea to come against God's people while they are living securely in the land. And God's justice is roused against Gog, and the Lord will defeat Gog and defend his people. But the chapter takes on an even deeper point of reflection, and I think this is really what is worth reflecting on. Because God actually explains why this is happening, why Gog is coming against his people. He says, I will bring you against my land, that the nations may know me through you. Did you catch just how radical a statement that God makes here? God exerts himself as the sovereign Lord. Gog gets the idea to attack God's people because God himself is bringing Gog against his people. In other words, the Lord is in control. The Lord is orchestrating this attack on his own people so that he might display his justice and power before the watching world. He said that the nations may know me through you. So he wants to publicly display his glory, his honor, and his power before the nations as he wards off this attack from Gog. So what this shows us is that no matter the trial, for us, God is in control. And this is a point that's hard to grasp and even harder to accept, but sometimes God purposefully arranges trials in our lives to demonstrate his glory. And I know that's hard to accept. Like, why would God put me through this? Why would God allow these difficult things into my life? Well, just as he wants to publicly display his glory before the nations, so he displays his glory in our lives. So we should never despair when we have to walk through these things, because the Lord is using them to display his name publicly before the Lord. He is our covenant Lord. He has renewed us. He has restored us. He will take care of us, and he will use the trials he brings us through to display his glory.